Right, upon checking other aspects, I have discovered this upper ball joint is not going to pass because that boot is scrap. So if the bit's scrap, it's probably that little water in, which is not good. But what made me look down here was there was grease, and my outer CV boot has stopped containing the grease. So I had a little gander in my T4 drawer, and looking through it, I have an upper ball joint and another upper ball joint, so we're good. We've got two, so at least I can replace that. What I do not have, it would appear, is a CB boot, unfortunately. Fun. So, to replace both those, have to undo your drive shaft bolt. And also, wow, nice and crumbly. Let's get in there. Looking up in here, you have to undo this nut as well, which should allow that up and out. I think I done one of these one time before and I didn't have to undo the bottom one. I think I got enough movement when I undone the top two. I might have to undo that strut to allow that to fall down a bit more, but we shall see. As I currently have no one to help me, and I do not own a Ugga Dugga, I'm going to have to get kind of inventive. So I'll just stick the oil pull on there. I'm going to have to set this down, but I'm going to try and wang on this. That's the plan. You ever see the baboon thing? Out of the Lion King bouncing up and down on its little tree? That's what you got to do. Oh God. Well, that was loose. Right. That's it, loose. Just left her in gear, but so just bouncing a bit. Right, there we go. That's it taken off, so I'm just gonna take this nut out. Good wing of threads. Hopefully, well, if that was that loose, maybe the shaft's not, drive shaft's not actually seized in there, because normally these are absolutely seized in. But I have to start splitting up to see. Right, next up, upper ball joint nut. It's not really enough room to get a socket in there, just because the drive shaft's right below it. So we've got, it is a bloody size, is it 24? Yeah, 24 ring spanner on it. That's not going to be enough torque, so I'm going to wrap the end of another one out around there. For anybody that doesn't know the technique, another ring and spanner, put it through the end like that. Just gives you a long extension. You do need two hands for this, or else you will lose a knuckle. We've got that slacking around the back, but I decided to take off the caliper just to give myself a wee bit more room. It's just these two wee bolts around the back there, 13s. It just pulls it out of these, just unbolts it from these slides. Some people undo one and then lift the caliper and then slide it all the way out. I don't really like doing that. I like leaving the slide at, like, if the slide's nice and greased and it's not seized, that's working well. I don't like, because you can muck up the seals in these and they can be hard to get back in, and it's just a bit of a nuisance. But I'm going to go on ahead and take the caliper carrier off as well, or cage, whatever you want to call it. So it's these two big bolts just down the inside, and that removes it from the hub. I'm just trying to make this as easy as possible, because if I remember right, I've done one of these before and it was a bit rubbish. Alright, caliper and carrier off. There's a wee bit more room. These can be pretty tight to get off. They're pretty easy. Something that everybody should get. Good long breaker bar. Something you can swing off or jump up and down on. Actually, most of the time, if you give things a quick bang, the actual the springiness of the bar actually itself helps break the nut, so it's pretty good. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and take that nut on off, and I'm going to put a ball joint breaker in here and smack it in to pop this out, because I'm not worried about it. It's absolutely knackered anyway. As you're taking out your ball joint retaining nut, you notice you've got this plate on the top, and it's kind of like big like nut like thing on the bottom. This sits up into grooves that relate to this. That's all to do with changing your, I think it's like upper camber, you know, like toe in, toe out, or yeah, positive or negative camber, sorry, is what I mean. Toe in, toe out's different. So you're just removing this nut, but when you're taking this out, take note of which way this came out. Like, if you even get like a wee paint mark or whatever, just to let you know which side went where, because as you can see, there is a hex up in there that's kind of seated into, but just remember to not mess about with that too much. Alright, so I've got that nut off as far as I can get it. Obviously you can see it's not against the drive shaft, it's not going to come any further. See what I mean about the top of that being, see it's off center, so it matters which side it goes back in. I've seen guys that talk about like how this has to come off and everything and mark this up, etc, etc, but I think I'd done this last time without actually taking this off, so I'm going to give that a go again. So into the tool kit, I've got one of these ball joint fork. I'm going to wang in there and beat the ever living shit out of it. There we go. Persuaded it out. Small hammer wasn't big enough. Used a sledge just to get a wang in. Let's see there now. That's able to move freely up and down in that. So I think what I'm going to have to do is disconnect that strut to let the whole thing drop down a bit. To disconnect the strut and the anti-roll bar, I think it's 21, yeah, 21mm. You need to put a spanner or something on this side as well, because there's your anti-roll bar on that side. You see that's your drop link there. There are drop link and strut bolt out. It's quite a long one. They can be a wee bit tight, but this one's been nice and greased and it wasn't too stuck in there at all. So as you can see now, I can both pry up this arm and drop this down a bit, which means I should be able to move this up and shift this whole assembly to the side and hopefully take the drive shaft out as well. Well, push out the back. I'm not going to take it fully out if I can do this. If I can change the CV bit in situ, I will, because it can be an absolute disaster trying to split those back there. So I'm going to try and do it all here. Well, as you can see, I've managed to get this bit free. So really, if this was all I was changing, I probably could get away with doing just that, and that would be fine. But I need to also change the CV bit. Don't have one, hopefully get one tomorrow. Fingers crossed, because MOT's the day after. You can't get just enough angle to get that pull all the way out of the back. So I'm going to have to disconnect a bit more from the hub. I don't really want to mess with this, like, because see these here, sometimes they're an absolute disaster to get back in again, but I don't want to have to start putting a track rod ends in as well. So basically the bottom ball joints in these, to replace the bottom ball joint, there's a bolt on either side. So I'm going to ignore this and I'm going to disconnect it here. And that should save the ball joint, and that should mean that I can pull the hub out of the way and just leave it attached to that. I'll just lean it on top of something over here so it's not putting too much pressure on it. And hopefully that'll do it. Well, not fixed, but on the route to being fixed. Would you believe me if I told you that those bottom bolts are 16mm? And in this kit, I bought this kit just, it was going cheap, and I liked the box and stuff, and I've got plenty of bits and bobs and so on and so forth. And in that entire kit, there's not 1/16mm. So I had to go back to the good old Bahco set. There we go, nice 16. Is it Bahco or Bahco? There we go. That's well out of the way. That all seems fairly happy there. There's not too much tension on that. Caliper's up there out of the way. Right, these are pressed in ball joints. So last time I done this, I managed to get it in using like a G-clamp type thing. Bent the ever living hell out of it. So this time I have bought a ball joint, a pressed ball joint remover, and a ball joint press. You know, it's all in one kit. You know, so you can take it out and put it in. If I remembered right, last time to get this out, I went on the clip, and I just beat the top of it rather hard with a big hammer, and it popped out. I'm probably going to do the same because I can't be bothered starting to press and get on. Like, I'll use the press to put one in, but you know, if you don't, why make it harder for yourself? And then when I get my outer CV bit tomorrow, there's plenty of room there. I'll be able to unclip that, pull that off, new bit on, hopefully pop back on again. Probably not, because getting the circlip to go back on with these, well, it's actually spring clip, but trying to get the spring clip back on it is an absolute disaster sometimes. But we'll make a start in this. These have a wee, oh, that's rusty. These have a wee retainer spring that you need to pop out in order to get them out. So I'm gonna get myself, if I can find it, a screwdriver and have a poke around in this and try and get it popped out. There you go, as long as that, jab it in, pop it out, try and do the same on this side. Probably won't come out anywhere near as nice, but I'll just work my way around with this one. It's all very fuzzy. There we go. There we go, that's the wee spring clip there. Now I'm gonna give this a couple of hard dumps and see if it wants to move. If not, I will relent and go and get the press. But come on, this is more fun. Et voila. Alright, so this is the ball joint press kit. I got it from a certain website where you can shop like a billionaire. It's from that well-known brand, TQOQT, or as I like to say, toot. You know, snap-on quality. Like, the box is absolutely woeful. I've never seen thinner plastic in one mankind. Like, I think my steaks come in thicker shrink wrap, but it's actually not the worst kit in the world. I need two hands to open it because it has these useless like springy clips. So that's inside the kit there. It's not too bad. Like, that there seems pretty heavy duty enough. Like, considering I managed to do this last time with a G-clamp, granted it bent to hell, I don't think I'm going to be able to bend this. I can try. Like, they're not too bad. Like, it's not like wafer thin, and like the threads in that seem pretty good. It's free running on end. I think it'll do fine. But anyway, first things first. Gotta clear this out. Get your wire wheel. Scrub, WD-40. Try and get as much dust, dirt, rust, everything off it as you can. You want to make your life as easy as possible. Alright, well, that was an absolute palaver to find anything that even remotely worked for this. So, hopefully, my ball joints thread can work way through here. Essentially what I'm trying to do is you're trying to push it up into here. So we're solid on top, but then that's going up into the metal lip of the ball joint, pushing up against that. There's a hole in through here that should let the thread of the ball joint down through. We shall find out if that'll work. I have absolutely no idea. It looks better than the time I did it with the G-clamp, so we'll give it a go. Right, so start to pull it in. There is tension on that now. The last time I found what helped going in, if I can find it, is the hammer. Just if you tap as you go, it'll sort of help vibrate it. Help sort of work its way into a seat. There we go. That seemed to do the job. Swap the cups just to have a wee bit more clearance, but you can see there, that's the lip of the ball joint, and it's pretty well tight up in to where it needs to go. I think it's definitely tight enough, so I'm going to take this off and we'll see what way it's in. There we are. Yeah, that worked really well. Quite impressed with the Temu ball joint press. So all that's left to do for that is put in the retaining spring, which, can I do it? No, I'm going to need to ping in one side and then get a screwdriver and ping it over, and that'll be the retaining clip for that. And well, I'm not going to start stripping that down tonight because I don't have the part. I'm assuming that'll be easy enough got, but we shall see. Plus, it's getting late. I'm tired. Gonna go get my dinner. That's the retaining clip in and seated. Just got in one side, got in the other side. That left the middle sticking out. Got a punch, tapped it down and just tapped them both round to make sure they're both seated. Actually, looking at it, that one there could do with another wee tap down, but that's pretty good for today. Pretty happy with that.